My name's Brian, and I play Reaper, a level 80 Orc Unholy Death Knight on the US Darkspear server. This video is being made in response to Swifty's Warrior vs. Warrior Duel video to show some of the ways his tips have benefited me in a PvP sense. They will also be given a display of my playstyle and a little bit of what a DK can do when given gear and time to learn the class. Firstly, let's get some things out of the way about me. I'm in my mid-20s. I recently moved to Central Florida. I very much enjoy video games, and I've played WoW for a very long time. As far as my computer goes, it's relatively new. I run a custom HP Elite box with 8GB DDR3 RAM, 2.5GB Intel quad-core processor, ATI Radeon 4350 1GB XFX graphics card, and dynamic cooling fans. As for my monitor, it's an HP M-Series 27-inch 1080p high-definition flat screen with 3 millisecond response time. Sadly, I've yet to find work in my new state, so I'm forced to use the factory peripherals, but obviously would like to get my hands on a Lycosa and Naga at some point in time, whenever that may be. Now for some PvP content. I've taken kind of a reverse engineering approach to my PvP style after watching the majority of Swifty's instructional Warrior vs. Class videos. Allow me to explain further. Though the Warrior and DK classes differ in many ways, the playstyle of both classes balance each other on a very fine line. What I mean is both are two-handed, plate-wearing, in-your-face melee classes and allow you to intertwine some of how you would play the two together. Not having a level 80 warrior myself, this is all speculation, but I would venture to assume that it would work. What I've done is studied the how-to anti-class videos that he established and tried to learn the intricacies of each opponent class. After taking into consideration how Swifty reacts to situations, or in most classes, plays proactively to avoid situations, I translate them into DK terms. I found after doing this I have an instant mental reaction when I engage a specific class as to how I should carry out that specific fight. Some examples of which are playing warriors in the sweet spot, or the spot where they can't melee you but also can't charge and intercept you. And things such as anti-magic shell on a 5-point and venom is big trouble for any of the rogues out there. As far as being a non-clicker or a macro superstar, well, I try my best. I admit I may have played better in the days when I had a 5-button mouse, but using my current setup I'm forced to at times click 2 or 3 spells. For the most part, the advice pertaining to macroing the Alt and Shift key, though it seems common sense now, at the time helped me so much with tidying up my cluttered bars and allowing me to make on-the-fly adjustments to my battle situation just by holding my Alt, Shift, or middle mouse button down, all depending on what I had to do. As a lifelong member of the Darkspear Horde, we are conditioned from a very young age to not only hate Swifty, but to attempt to kill on sight. And though I'm loyal to my bloodthirsty and ravenous roots, I respect the man for what he brings to the game. The time he spends trying to better the WoW community, and if for nothing else, for his PvP abilities. Anytime you want to stop by Orgrimmar and say hi, I'll be sure to chase you around with my sword for a bit. Good luck, and thank you for the videos. I'm looking forward to the new ones, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the server. So how about a couple duels? Let's go out to Dorotar and see who's hanging around, shall we? This duel was against another level 80 Death Knight in front of Orgrimmar. The Death Knight was in 5 pieces of Relentless Gladiator's gear, had Bryn Troll equipped, as well as Deathbringer's Will, and had almost 100 points of gear score superior to me. It was a fun fight for me just messing around, but in the end the other DK complained about my using Ebon Gargoyle, even though they sacrificed their ghoul, dropped their anti-magic zone, and trinketed my ghoul stun. I had done none of this to them. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be doing more duel videos in the future. Our second duel tonight is Havoc, level 80 Orc Warrior, mix of Wrathful and Relentless core pieces, tier 1 Wrathful Axe, and lots of arena experience. He's an all-around nice guy. My philosophy in this duel isn't to try to go toe-to-toe with the Mortal Strike Warrior, but rather to keep my diseases on him constantly, while controlling his movement speed and letting my dots and ranged attacks finish him. As you can see here, I'm attempting to play his sweet spot, which is just outside of his melee range, but just inside of his charge and intercept range, and I think I'm doing it okay. I generate a large runic power pool, ghoul stun to create space, and then blow my gargoyle. It's the key move into forcing him here. He goes sword and shield, allowing myself a nice cushion to rebuild my runes and runic power to finish him off. Once shield wall is down and I've effectively kited his blade storm, it's death coil spam from a distance for the win. Unlike other melee classes, I don't stand in his face spamming death strikes due to the mortal strike effect, and I only come into melee when I need to refresh my blood runes or I have a chance to death strike with no MS on. All of this is virtually impossible to do by clicking only. This last duel for tonight is another level 80 Death Knight, but this time it's no walk in the park. Meet him, level 80 Blood Elf Death Knight, 2nd tier Wrathful Weapon, mix of full Wrathful and Relentless core pieces, and a 2400 rated plus 3v3 team. Safe to say they know how to play Death Knight. These battles were relatively long for a Death Knight vs Death Knight duel, but that's because both of us were trying to time our cooldowns, spam Death Strike, and not go head on into an oncoming loss. Props to him for beating me twice, but I did get one in on her, so I'm going to show one loss and one victory. Not having to stop and click skills allows for greater movement and spell uptime, as well as allowing quick switches from offense to defense, blowing cooldowns immediately when needed, and believe me they were, the tier 2 sword hits a lot harder than my tier 1 weapon does. I hope to improve upon this playstyle with a multi-button mouse eventually, when I have the opportunity to buy one, whenever that may be. Thanks for all the help, Swifty. As you can see, as indirectly as it may be, you have made me a much better Death Knight. Well, that's it for my dueling tonight. I'll make a whole PvP dueling video sometime later on in the future, and good luck everybody.